Nintendo Switch. This one's going to be an interesting one. It is a reported orange screen, though I have not been able to reproduce that, and the shop has not been able to reproduce that. However, we have a situation where it will not pick up the networks. So it's clearly a Wi-Fi chip issue of some sort. We will have to disassemble it down to the board level, at least to the point where we can pull out the eMMC and take a look under there, see if there's something going on under there. Could be liquid damage corrosion, something as simple as liquid damage corrosion, or something as major as it's going to need a new Wi-Fi chip. So we'll take it from there and do some disassembly and come back when we have the ability to inspect it. Okay, we've disassembled enough to look around anyway, and we're going to take a look in our Wi-Fi area. Let's switch you over to microscope. See if we can see anything obvious, and I am not seeing anything obvious. We'll take a general spin around the board as well. Yeah, it looks pristine, really. So I think we just have a Wi-Fi chip issue. And we're going to have to disassemble entirely. I suspect a reflow will not do the job here. So we can attempt a reflow just to see. I'm not optimistic about that. However, I do have 2 donor boards that I can pull Wi-Fi chips off of. I don't know the condition of those Wi-Fi chips, but we will reball them and attempt to use them. After that, it's going to be, unfortunately, it would be a no-fix situation if those don't work, because finding these chips anywhere from a reliable source is near impossible, at least at the point of this recording. Kind of just like the last one. If one of my donors do not work, we're kind of screwed, unfortunately. So first we'll disassemble entirely. We'll try a reflow. We'll test and see if it works, and even if it does work, it'll have to work for a while. I'll probably have to let it sit around for hours and hours and hours and see, and reboot it and everything else several times just to see if it will work. This could be a multi-part one too, because we could always get it back to the customer and start having a problem again. So, well, that's just the nature of orange screen, I'm afraid. So we'll disassemble, we'll reflow, we'll test. If the reflow does nothing, we'll have to start removing some other chips and reball them. Okay, we had the board out of the housing and we're ready to attempt a reflow. Again, I don't have a whole lot of hope for this particular stage in the process, but I like to be thorough just in case a reflow will solve it. So actually, before we get started on that, let me throw my expected temperatures up. I did add a few. I expect for the reball I'll drop to 380 when I'm placing the chip. If it gets to that point, we'll be tacking it down at 20% airflow, and then we'll bring the sauce. Other than that, no real changes. The equipment on, and change gloves. Okay, I think we're ready to attempt the reflow. I am using actually an encoder shield here to try and protect the LCD connector. And all we're going to do here is reflow the chip, give it a little nudge, and make sure it has reflowed. Alright, so we will reassemble enough to do a test and see if the reball helped our cause any. And if not, we'll have to start pulling chips and reballing and going from there. Okay, we've assembled enough to do some testing, so that's what we're going to do. I did plug in I usually, when I just assemble enough to test, I don't plug in the Wi-Fi cable, but in this case I did because I do want to get a good test on the Wi-Fi. We're actually not testing for power here, we're testing to see if we get Wi-Fi function. Okay. Go to Wi-Fi. See if we're picking up any networks. Okay, we're actually picking up networks this time. So it is working at the moment. This is probably one I'm going to have to put aside. I think I will sign it into my Wi-Fi. Successfully connected. All right. We are connected. So I guess really all I can do is I'm going to put it back together with the heatsink at least, and we'll just throw the back plate on there, you know, kind of haphazardly with a screw or two, and then we're just going to have to let it sit and see if it continues to work, see if this reflow actually solved the problem, but we'll find out. Okay, we're back together again loosely. Everything is connected, so, and we have internet connection again, so to my network. So we're really in the position of just, we're gonna have to wait around and see. I'm just gonna stick it on a charger, leave it sitting aside. I'll come back and check it, you know, every few hours or so, and see how it's behaving. And I'll see if we get another orange screen or if we lose internet connection. It's possible this reflow worked. It'll be the first for me, but you never know. We'll just see what it does. Anyway, I'll come back and either wrap this one up after, you know, sometime tonight, or we'll have to come in for part 2. So it occurred to me, I also want to check and make sure that it's recognizing our Joy-Cons when they're not connected. And it doesn't seem to be. Okay, seeing them when it's connected, but it's not seeing it when it's not. Interesting. They are searching. Let's try mine. I'm going to try mine here. Yeah, it is not recognizing the Joy-Cons. That tells me we still have a problem, because that is Wi-Fi Bluetooth through that chip, and it's not picking up either their Joy-Cons or my Joy-Cons. So I think the reflow, while it may have solved our Wi-Fi issue, it didn't solve everything. We're not picking up our Joy-Cons. And I know the fan is working, so... Okay, so I think we still have a problem. Yeah, it's not seeing their Joy-Cons, and their Joy-Cons are fully charged, and it's not finding them either. So we still have a problem. We're probably going to need to put a new chip on, and that's just the way it's going to have to be, unfortunately. The reflow did not solve every problem, it solved a problem. So, anyway, next thing to do is really going to have to be to pull the Wi-Fi chips off our donor. We'll start with one, reball it, and then we'll pull this one and put another one on and see if we can solve this issue. Okay, after some minor delays. Had to do a quick repair in between. I'm ready to start pulling a chip. Okay, I need to clean this one up a little bit. All we're going to really do is flatten out the balls. Suck up as much solder as we can of the unleaded solder, and then we'll reball it. Everything looks pretty good here. Just for your information, I don't know if you noticed, once I got it under the stencil, I directed the heat to the side of the chip. If you do that, it doesn't really matter how wet your paste is. I mean, it's good to, wipe it up with the clean wipe and get all the excess flux off. But if you indirectly heat the paste and just let the stencil basically warm up the solder enough to melt, and it will go across and it won't boil up and pop your balls out. This works on bigger chips, smaller chips, whatever. At least so far in my experience it has. So, next thing we need to do is I'm going to put this chip aside because we need to pull off the client chip, and I need to disassemble their switch to do that. We're going to throw that in our board holder container so it doesn't blow off or get lost anywhere. And we'll pull off theirs, we'll prep the pads, and really that's what we have to do. We'll have to pull off theirs, prep the pads, and then we'll put the new chip on and cross our fingers and hope this chip is good. We'll be back. Okay, we are ready to pull their chip. Let's flip you back over to microscope. It's really going to be a hit or miss on whether our chip is any good, but we know their chip is not good. Alright, we will be dropping the airflow down to 20% for placements. Grab our new chip, or donor chip rather, our newly reballed chip. Gently get it in here. Alright, so I need to find my pin 1 indicator. I think it's going to be there. Hard to see. Yeah, it's there. Very good. That's the pin 1 indicator there, and we need our dot to be facing there. I know y'all can't see the dot, but I can. Alright, let's center this guy as much as possible. Now coming in with airflow of 20%, we're going to tack it down first. Actually I need to be 480 though. And I'll go back down to 20%. And now we're going to tack it down. I'm not looking to flow the whole chip. I just want some of those solder balls to grab the board and create surface tension, so that when I bring the saws to really place it, it doesn't fly off. Okay, so it's placed. I'm not super happy with that chipped corner, so I'm not overly optimistic that this one's going to work. I don't know that y'all can see the chipped corner, but it does look like the corner took a hit right there. So I'm not overly optimistic that this one's going to work, but we will test it and see if we are lucky. I'm not expecting to be, but next thing we'll do is we'll clean it off and reassemble and give it a test. Okay, as you can see, we're getting internet, and let's go back. There we go. And we're still getting Bluetooth. So it appears everything is working. So I'm going to take this back to the client and have them monitor it overnight, just to make sure that we don't suddenly get a blue screen, or I'm sorry, an orange screen of death of some sort. But for now, that's the end of this repair. In summary, Nintendo Switch had orange screen of death. We attempted a reflow on the chip. That restored internet connection. It restored Wi-Fi, but it didn't restore Bluetooth. We were not getting any connection with their Joy-Cons or mine. So we had to pull their chip. We had to pull a donor chip, reball the chip, and put it back on. I was not overly optimistic because it did end up somehow chipping the corner. Stupid physics tricks in the process of trying to get the chip hidden in a container and all that stuff. Just weird stuff was happening. Anyway, ended up chipping the corner, so I was not overly optimistic that the chip was going to work, but it appears to be working, so we're just going to leave it be. I'm going to have the client monitor it overnight and make sure that we don't end up with an orange screen, or it doesn't drop Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or anything like that. And hopefully this repair is done. If not, then we'll come back and do another part of it. If you have any questions about the equipment I used in this video, take a look in the description below. They're all linked down there on Amazon affiliate links, so even if you don't want to buy anything I have listed down there, if you click on one of those links and buy anything else, it does help support the channel. If you have any questions about the repair, please post them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer the questions, or direct you somewhere that can. If you like the video, hit the like button on your way out, and if you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll know when I post videos, which is usually about twice a week. That's really all I have to ask of you. I really appreciate you watching. and we'll see you next time.